Today we're going to make feeders for next to nothing out of recycled items. We have silkies here, as you can see. We have an outside feeder at the moment, but on really bad days, as we're getting at the moment, these guys need some food so they can spend their entire day in the coop and they'll be comfortable. So first up, we'll make the waterer. So to save you from changing containers and having them being spilled over continually, what we'll do is you need one of these plastic containers. They just come from the $2 shop. I think they're about 5 litres container. But so you can get longer out of a water container, we're actually going to use one of these spring water containers. Usually I've used the these just come from the supermarket, and usually I've used these guys to make ginger beer with and all that sort of thing, and they're usually empty, but because I'm time poor, I've actually just using them so like my chickens, they get some spring water. So as you can see, this actually fits inside the container like that, and the idea of it is that I'll put a hole just down here, and as the water drops it will continue to fill up until it's empty. So these things are easily cleaned, and because this is a disposable item, as soon as it gets a bit yuck you can actually chuck it out, buy yourself a new one, and you'll have spring water available, and you're not actually wasting the container. So what you do is, to make it, is that you get a drill and you get a small drill bit. You don't want the hole too big because the water will run through and run out quickly when you're trying to fill it up. So this will slowly leak into the container. If you find that the water's not leaking out quick enough because your chickens are drinking it, you can actually make the hole a little bit bigger, but it's best to go smaller to begin with. Okay, so what we'll do is we look at the container. We don't want the hole to be higher than the lip, so we'll actually go down there. So I'll take it out. I'll make 2 holes in this. Okay. And then we pick it up and we let the water drain into there. So while the water's draining into there, we'll go on to our feeder. This is actually really very simple to use. Again, you just need a recycled item. This one's an old one that I've been using, just to show you. And once they get old and grungy like that, chuck them away. You were going to chuck them away in the first place anyway, but this just prolonged its life. So today I'm actually going to use a milk container. So what you do with that is you want an area where they can actually put their head in and feed. So I just cut it with a knife just to get it going. Get a pair of scissors. You don't want any jagged edges, so they'll poke themselves, so you just cut that away. Bigger if you have larger chickens, but Silky's a little, so they don't have any problems. So you just fill the feeder up to the edge. If you're filling up your feeders and there's some feed in the bottom, the beauty of it is that you just turn it up and the feed that was already in there falls to the top of the container, and then you fill up with new feed, therefore you're not getting stale feed left on the bottom. Now to stop the container from falling over in the coop, what you do is you attach some wire or some some string or ties from your garden around. And then I've actually just released the valve on that to fill up the container a little bit quicker. Alright, and you watch that with your water. Alright, so that's filling up over the holes there. Alright, and watch, I'll just close that off. That'll run a little bit further until the suction is gone. Slowing down. Okay. And what happens is the suction comes in here and sucks it like that. And the mistake I've made in the past is that this here, I've filled it up and I'll put the cap on, but this wasn't turned off in the off section, and I come back later on and the whole container's empty. So just make sure that this is on tight and that this little area is turned off. You'll get the suction in there, and when the water drops below where you've actually put the hole in, you'll find the water doesn't leak out any further. Now when you're... Actually, we'll just finish off with the feeders. So you'll fill the feeders up, which I'll show you in a bit, and you get a staple gun or a nail if you wish, and you staple this to the wall so the chickens can't actually tip it over as such. Okay, so that's that. I'll show you what it looks like in the coop in a moment. So when you're actually filling these containers up, you'll actually lift them out of the container and turn it upside down. That way the water doesn't leak on you. When you fill it up, you'll be turning these containers upright, and this will leak out as you fill, but because the holes are small, it'll fill up, and then you just turn it upside down and you carry it to your water container and you just dump it back in your water container. Because these containers are quite cheap, I actually just got that. It was just an old container that I used for just storing rice in, that sort of thing. Easy to wash. So what you do is you just have a couple of the type of container you wish to use, and when one container is dirty, what you do is you just come along and this container is dirty, you actually just pick this up and you put it in the next container, take that away and clean it. Very easy. As I said before, with this container here, when this container gets dirty, you can actually put apple cider vinegar and all that sort of stuff to stop it from getting mouldy. Don't leave this in direct sun. This works well in the coop because it's not actually going to get direct sun, so the water's not going to turn green. But when the time comes, throw this out and use a new container. Oh, that's Zoe. She has something to say. Don't you, darling? Hey? Alright, we'll get back to you in a moment and I'll show you what it looks like in the coop. Alright, so we're here in the coop. We have because we like to recycle, this is actually the inside of an old horse float. Well, actually it's a pony float, so it's teeny tiny. But it suits the silkies and it keeps nice and sheltered, especially during bad weather. It's holding up quite well. But this is the setup in here. So there's the water just there. So the door is actually just here. Yeah, so you just enter in through here. So you want easy access. So that's the water there if you need to change it. This is your feeder. There's the feed inside. So as I said, so you're not getting just stale feed just to the bottom. You actually rock it back like that. Put more feed in. Rock it forward again. Alright, so the chickens don't knock it over. What you do is you get a staple gun or a hook if there's on the wall, or however you want to, a nail.
And there's a wire, so we staple it to the wall.
Staple it and then do it like a backwards sort of staple, so it kind of just holds it in place. Like that. Leave the sharp end up because chickens, especially silkies, they're not the brightest things and they'll hurt themselves on it. Like that. So there's your feeder. So when the chicken comes along and tries to knock it over, it's not going to be knocked over very easy. So easy peasy. So this was just made out of items that would have been thrown away. I didn't use that container anymore. I think I paid $5